We all desire to live our wildest dreams, but see, the issue is that some of us really don't know what it takes to manifest our dreams into reality. So on today's episode of African Warrior Podcast, we're going to figure just that out. Let's dive on in. So what's going on, my African Warrior Nation? How y'all doing? Welcome back to the African Warrior Podcast, where I'm your host, Rastariq, and you're watching Rastariq TV. On today's podcast, like I said, we're going to be answering the question, how do we manifest our dreams into our reality? And without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive on in. I got my computer right here, so we're going to just run through these quick, guys. And before we actually get started, we have to answer the first question first. Is what is manifestation? Like, what does manifesting truly mean? So here we go. Manifestation means to bring something tangible into your life through attraction and belief. So with that being said, I also wrote down a few key points on how we can bring and attract those tangible things that we want into our life, whether it be you want a new car, you want some money, you have a certain area in your life that you're trying to be in, maybe a new promotion, a job. We're going to figure out how we can reprogram our subconscious mind to be able to get there. Now, some of y'all might be asking, what is the subconscious mind and how does the subconscious mind work? Well, I'm going to give you a very basic overview of how the subconscious mind works. And this analogy that I'm using was written in my book, African Warrior Wisdom, Martial Arts Philosophy for Self-Improvement. I will link that down below if you want to check it out. The subconscious mind works like a double-edged sword. You have one side of the blade, which is your conscious mind, and the other side of the blade is your subconscious mind. Now understand that every time you swing that sword, you are leading with your subconscious mind first, and then it's followed up by the subconscious mind. And I want y'all to keep that in mind, because that's going to be very important when we get into our key parts later. Now, also understand this. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between real and fake. And that is a very key thing to understand, because if you're not paying attention to the type of information that you're putting into your subconscious mind, or if you're not paying attention to the type of things that you do with your conscious mind, you can be reprogramming your subconscious mind in a way that would be detrimental to you. And that is something you want to keep away from. So let's go ahead and fall into key point number one. Key point number one to really manifest your reality and reprogram your subconscious mind is to build better habits in the areas you need improvement. If you know the first thing you want to do to become better is wake up early, then you need to figure out what is causing you not to wake up early. You might need to go to bed earlier. Okay, if you're going to bed earlier and that's not working, what are you doing leading up before going to bed that's causing you to still oversleep? This is where you have to go inside and do some deep digging to figure out what is it that's keeping you from achieving these positive habits that's going to get you to achieving the goal that you want. Because I've experienced this within myself. I've had to go back into my brain and literally reprogram certain habits so I can become better. I've been in moments where I used to hate getting up early in the mornings. Like, getting up in the morning was not it for me. Like, that was not my thing. But I had to go back and reprogram my brain, and I said, hey, if you want to be able to get to this next level, bro, you need to start waking up, king. If you don't wake up, then you wasting your hours of the day. So you always got to go back and think, what are the habits that I can be improving on the areas where I lack? And once you can figure that out and pinpoint that and start making those better habits, you'll begin to see more positive change in your life, and you'll start to be able to manifest certain areas, because it starts with those little tiny habits. Now, going on to key point number two, the way you think and respond must be from an evolved state. Now, when you combine this with key point number one of building better habits, you will begin to see changes in your physical world. Now, the thing about thinking and responding from an evolved standpoint, it causes you to slow down. It causes you to slow down, especially take it from me as a person who used to be a very big overthinker. It causes you to slow down and really process the decisions and thoughts that you make within your head. Because when you take the time to slow down and truly think about whatever decisions that you're about to make, you can begin to hear the conscious God-like energy speaking to you. That's the type of conscious that you want to lead with, not the lower vibrational frequency. See, the things that we do off impulse or just out of lust or heat of the moment, those are usually going to come from your lower vibrational frequencies. Those are the ones that we tend to listen to because we're not really paying attention. And you see, when I said the subconscious mind doesn't know real or fake, when you putting certain things into your mind and not really paying attention about what you put in there, it programs the subconscious mind to think a certain way. And then that low frequency can hijack that brain, and next thing you know, you're operating off that low frequency. But when you take the time to truly think and respond from a higher level of consciousness, you have no choice but to slow down on how you respond to things. And as you get better over time, you can begin to think and lead with that conscious way of thinking at a quicker pace. But it takes practice. And like I said, when you combine those things with those small daily habits that you're already doing on a regular, trust and believe you will start to see the changes in your physical world. Point number 3 is lead with your constant mind constantly. I essentially just broke all that down. Because like I said, once you start thinking and responding from an evolved state, you're putting in the necessarily daily habits that you need to improve on top of it. Start practicing doing that constantly. Because the more you do something frequently, that becomes your frequency. And that's what you want. And that was actually my last point. So these two kind of go hand in hand. So you want to start making those daily practices of thinking from an evolved state. You want to respond to things from an evolved state. Everything you do comes from an evolved state. And also, here's a bonus key point that you can do too as well to manifest your reality is really start journaling. People underestimate the power of journaling. When you really take the time to write down your visions and put them on paper, something about it just worked. Honestly, I remember my barber told me about this when I was 16 years old, and honestly, I still can't even fully explain the science behind it. It's just something about literally taking something that was once up here and then writing it down on paper and then speaking it out loud every day and then taking the necessary steps and action to do it every day and then putting your mindset in the place as if you was already there. All those things add up and it literally starts to shape your reality. The simple way I like to look at manifestation, we are all gods. We come from the cosmos. We come from a divine being, the Most High. As black people, we are the original people. We are godly people. We are godly people walking on this earth. And what I like to tell people is that when you really start to tap into that godlike conscience, you must move how a God moves. And that's create. Because that's what gods do. Gods create. And the more you can wrap yourself around that godlike consciousness, you can begin to create any reality that you so desire. You will no longer be trapped in whatever reality that you're currently in. You'll be able to, if you want to become a swimmer, you'll create a reality where all you do is swim. If you want to become a skateboarder, you will create a reality where all you do is skateboard. If you want to become a music, you literally create any reality that you desire when you can tap into that godlike energy. But see, all that comes from being able to operate from that godlike consciousness. And you have to lead with that type of consciousness. You have to train for that consciousness. Just like you train your martial arts or you train your dance move, anything. You have to train consistently and constantly until it becomes natural. And when it becomes natural, it becomes easier to create that sort of reality. Because again, once you do what you do frequently becomes your frequency. And that's essential in anything in life. Whatever you do most of, that's usually what you're going to get paid off of anyway. How you think most people get successful? Because they took the time and energy and put it all in one thing, and next thing you know, something happened. That became their reality, and boom, they became able to make a living off of that. You understand what I'm saying? You have to put all these pieces together in one to truly see that manifestation come together. And when it's all said and done, I promise you, brothers and sisters, you will see that change. And you will be so thankful within yourself because in the beginning it might start off hard and challenging. But then it's going to get to a point where, like I said, when you do it so constantly, it becomes easy. And that's ultimately the key to manifestation. Constantly putting these 4 keys into practice and making it so natural to where it gets to a point where literally the reality that you desire is at a snap of a finger. But I digress. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button. When you smash that like button, it lets YouTube know that you really enjoy my content, and it spreads to other people because I want to help as many people grow as I can from this channel. So please smash that like button and leave a comment down below on what other future videos you would like to see. I post 2 videos a week every single weekend. So please guys, let's help build this channel and let's help build a community of African warriors. Come on y'all, let's do it. But without further ado, I've been your host Rasta Reek, and you have been watching the African Warrior Podcast on Rasta Reek TV, and I'm